Good day, everyone, especially to our professor, Dr. Manuel Roman. Good day, sir. I am Leonard K.G. Tato, and my topic is all about correlational research. When we say correlational research, it is a type of non-experimental research method that seeks to identify the relationships or associations between two or more variables. The goal is to understand if and how variables are related, but it does not imply causation. That is, while it can show whether variables are linked, it does not determine whether one variable causes changes in another variable. These are the key characteristics of correlational research. Number one is no manipulation of variables. In correlational research, the researcher does not manipulate the variables but simply observes and measures them. And also, relationships between variables focuses on discovering the extent to which variables change together, but it doesn't mean that one variable is the cause or the reason of the changes in one variable. We just observe each variable if how they change together. That is the characteristics of correlational research. There are types of correlational research, so we will discuss this one by one. Number one is a positive correlation. When one variable increases, the other also increases. Example, R studied and test score. So in positive correlation, the result in positive correlation, if the students, let's say there is a student spend more hours in studying, he will get or he or she will get a high scores during the exam. That is the positive correlation. The more he or she spend time in studying, the more he will get high test scores in during the exam. Take a look at this graph. So this is the example of positive correlation. So there is a time watch TV, so time in watching TV and the aggressive behavior of a child. So this is just example. It doesn't mean that if your child watching always TV, it doesn't mean that he or she will have the aggressive behavior. This is just an example. Okay, let me explain about this one. If the child spend more time in watching TV, he will, in this result, he or she have the high possibility of having the aggressive behavior. That is the positive correlation. The one variable increases, the other variable also increases. The next one is a negative correlation. When one variable increases, the other one decreases. So this is the opposite of the positive correlation because the positive, as you can remember, the positive both increases, but in negative, one variable increases, but the other variable decreases. Example for this is the stress levels and sleep duration. The more stress levels a person may have, the less sleep duration he or she may have. Take a look at this graph. So let me explain this one. As you can see, there is a one variable which is the exercise, the another variable is weight. If the person exercise more, the weight of that person decrease because his or her exercise time increases. And then therefore his weight or her weight will decrease. But if that person spend less time in exercising, the weight of that person may increase. Unlike, so have you did you understand this one? It is very understandable if that is the negative correlation. And now let's proceed to the last type of correlational research, which is the no correlation. In no correlation, no predictable relationship between the variables. For example, the one variable is shoe size and the another variable is intelligence. Shoe size don't have the connections or doesn't matter with the intelligence of a person. So that is the no correlation at all. And now let's proceed to the methods of correlational research, how we measure or how we do the correlational research. Number one is through surveys or questionnaires. Researchers often use surveys or questionnaires to gather data from large groups of people about their behaviors, attitudes, or characteristics. For example, a survey measuring the amount of time people spend exercising in their self-reported health levels. That is the survey or questionnaires. So in this one, the respondent of of your research will going to answer the questionnaires you have prepared for them to answer. The next one is observational studies. So from the root word of observational, which is observe. In this method, researchers observe and record behaviors or characteristics without intervening. You just have to sit there and observe the the variables you have for your research. For example, observing the relationship between classroom environment and student engagement. So in this, you just have to observe in the classroom setting of a teacher. You don't have to intervene. You just to sit there and observe what was happening in that classroom. Next one is the statistical methods. Correlation coefficients such as persons are commonly used to quantify the strength and direction of relationship between variables. What is these persons are? The Pearson's correlation coefficients, or R, is one of the most common method for measuring the strength and direction of the linear relationship between two continuous variables. It ranges from -1 to +1, where +1 indicates a perfect correlation, which is the positive correlation. Both variable increases together. And -1 indicates a perfect negative correlation. One variable increases as the other decreases. And 0 indicates that no linear correlation or the no correlation. That is um, the indicator. So example of Pearson's correlation coefficient, which is imagine a researcher wants to study the relationship between hours of study and exam scores. After collecting data, they calculate Pearson's R and find that R 0.85. This indicates a strong positive correlation between study hours and exam scores. As study hours increase, exam scores to increase as well. So this is the Pearson's correlation coefficient. Next is the Spearman's rank correlation coefficient, or P or RS. This method is used when the data is ordinal or ranked, or you are going to rank the data you are going to research, or when the relationship between variable is not linear but still monotonic. Example, one variable consistently increases or decreases with the other, but not necessarily at a constant rate. By using this method, researchers can gain insights into how variables relate to each other, which can inform further studies or provide evidence of pattern in real-world phenomena. However, remember that correlation does not imply causation, and these methods only show association, not causal links. So example of this is a researcher might want to examine the relationship between the rank of employees from best to worst and their job satisfaction score. Since the data is ranked, Spearman's rank correlation would be more appropriate. So that is the two common statistical method, the Spearman's and the other one I explained earlier. So these are the important considerations in doing a correlational research, which is the number one is correlation does not imply causation. A key limitation of correlational research is that while it can identify a relationship, it cannot establish a cause and effect relationship. External factors, confounding variables, or reverse causality might influence the observed correlation. Next is a third variable problem. An unmeasured third variable could be influencing the observed relationship between the two variables. Findings should be interpreted cautiously. In summary, correlation research is useful for understanding the relationship between variables, but we should be cautious in interpreting the findings since it cannot definitively determine causal links. So these are the examples of correlational research. One of the examples is Classroom environment and student engagement. Hypothesis, a positive classroom environment is correlated with higher student engagement. So how are we going to measure this one as a researchers? Researchers assess classroom environmental factors like teacher-student rapport, classroom design, teaching style, and measure student engagement levels through the participation and attentiveness in the classroom setting. So in this example, I think we're going to use the observational studies or the observational method. We are going to observe inside the classroom what was happening, what is the teaching style, and how the student participate in a classroom to have to know the relationship between if to know if it is correlated, if the classroom environment is correlated in the student engagement. Another example is parental involvement and student academic achievement. Hypothesis. Higher levels of parental involvement are correlated with better academic performance in students. It means if the parents, in this research, we are going to measure if the parents more active in more active in school, to have more involvement in school, is having a relationship or correlated with a better academic performance of students. So how are we going to measure this one? Researchers collect data on the frequency of parental involvement, example like attending parent-teacher conferences, helping with homeworks, and the students' grades or the standardized test scores during the quarterly exams. So that is the example. That is the another example. And now let's proceed to another one. Another one is sleep duration and academic performance. Hypothesis, the amount of sleep students get is correlated with their academic performance. So how are we going to measure? Researchers measure students' sleep duration and compare it with their academic outcomes like exam scores or their general average. Okay, this is the another example, which is the student motivation and academic achievement. Hypothesis, higher levels of student motivation are correlated with higher academic achievements. How are we going to measure this one? Researchers assess students' motivation levels using surveys or questionnaires and correlate this with their grades or test scores. So this is the last example, which is the cultural diversity in the classroom and student performance. Hypothesis, classrooms with higher cultural diversity are correlated with better student learning outcomes, particularly in terms of social and academic skills. So the measurement will be researchers measure the degree of cultural diversity in classroom and assess students' academic achievement and social skills development. The examples I present to you, all the examples I presented, illustrate how correlational research can be applied in various areas of education to identify relationship between different factors and student outcomes. However, remember that correlation does not prove causation, so further experimental research would be needed to confirm causality. So that is all about my report, the correlational research. Thank you so much everyone for listening. I hope you understand my report and you learned something from me. So thank you so much.